Everyone is scared. Everyone's on the sidelines right now. But the big players, they're buying everything. And Ethereum is setting up to be the financial rail for the future. Through all this chaos, big money is still buying, and that's what's important. Now we got MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor or Strategy. This dude is spending, he's gonna be spending $1 trillion by the time this is over. He's gonna be spending $1 trillion. Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Dre Soul here with some more crypto news and crypto wisdom for your head top. Urban Blockchain, where we bring you crypto news, crypto wisdom, experience. But again, this is not financial advice. So make sure you consult with your fiduciary, your financial advisor. Make sure you do your own research and have your own convictions so that you can make your own decisions. This is just opinions, me chopping it up about the market. So let's dive into what's going on, right? So welcome back to Crypto Rants, where we cut through all the noise, bring all that macro and crypto fire to your doorstep. All this for your head top, right? Now, for today's vibe, we're going to talk about how indecisive this market is, right? It's super flippy floppy. The most flippy floppy market I've ever seen since I started investing in 2012. Even COVID and the 2008 recession had clearer signals as to why people were scared, as to why people were panicking, as to why people were frantic. It was life and death situations. You had, the pandemic, then you had terrorist activity and whatnot, and just a whole bunch of things, the market crash. And it was a lot going on during those times, right? Compared to now, right? It's just tariffs. I don't understand why people are so scared, but through all this chaos, big money is still buying, and that's what's important. So let's talk inflation. We're going to talk about tariffs. We're going to talk about Trump. And we're also going to talk about regulation for crypto and why this madness might be your biggest opportunity. I've been saying this for the past videos that this might be the biggest and best buying opportunity, not just of my lifetime, but of your lifetime, of our lifetime, of our generation, right? So let's dive into it. So inflation data, the market aren't making sense, right? CPI came in cooler than expected. Core CPI expected 2.5%, and it came in at 2.4%. CPI expected 3.8% and came in at 3%. So why did stocks dump while crypto was pumping? Doesn't make sense, because the market is panicking for no reason, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I don't know everything, but this is my opinion. You know what I'm saying? The market is panicking. Trueflation says inflation was already down to 1.3%. All prices are dropping. Tariffs on China are cooling off. Yet the Fed is still using lagging indicators. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this is lagging. So give it 8 to 12 weeks. Today's moves will reflect in upcoming CPI reports, right? So it's a lagging data report, and they read out on lagging stuff. So that's the reason why. But in my opinion, like I said, I think this is a good opportunity to jump in. Now, let's talk about Trump's wild ride, because as we know, Trump is super volatile, right? Now, Trump's been tweeting more good days coming. And, we saw that with S&P was up 9.5% last week. The NASDAQ was up 12.1% last week. Dow's biggest one-day gain, 2,962 points. There was a lot going on, right? But the markets turned red the next day, literally the next day. And why? Because retail got greedy, right? They saw the prices hiking up. They saw that he tweeted, it's a good time to buy. And then people got excited, got greedy, and then short sellers got squeezed. They got squeezed, and then boom, the blood came out, which is the red markets. But here's the kicker, right? Trump pivoted. This wasn't some, chess situation. He had to make a move. And now he's setting up a global trade bargain, right? Now, people are saying that, this wasn't in his plan. He didn't plan this. He actually got scared and things like that. And big money, the people that are behind the 10-year treasuries is the real reason why he made that pivot. And then they started promoting The Art of the Deal, his book, and all this craziness. All of this is antics. All of it is theatrics, in my opinion. We're in an age where everything is displayed, everything is transparent due to social media, due to all the cameras that are around, right? So he got to put on. And Trump is used to put it on. He had a reality show, right? Where what was it? The Apprentice. He had a reality show around business. He's always been in the limelight. He's been in pictures with all the rappers. You know what I'm saying? So he's been in light of, where he has to display a certain image or keep up with his image that people know him as, right? So this is all on brand for Trump, is what I'm trying to say. It's all on brand, right? So it's all about picking a side, right? USD, digital dollar, or stablecoin. So expect more deals to be announced, and that's the fuel for the next bull run, right? So kind of what they did is like they got all these different companies. They got all these different countries coming to the bargaining table, right? And in them coming to the bargaining table, they're pretty much agreeing that USD is going to be the denomination of what they pay their interest in, right? And it might not be USD like the dollar because we're moving into a digital age, so it could potentially be a stable coin, it could be a digital dollar, so on and so forth, because there's regulation for that with this new Trump administration, right? So now the way I see it is, China's on this side, not trying to come to the table to negotiate. They're hitting us back and forth with the reciprocal, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a tennis match going back and forth. Now, as more countries start to negotiate, you're going to see news saying, oh, we negotiated with this company, painting the picture that everything is okay, right? And painting that picture that the U.S. is the place to be, right? So all in all, it's a good strategy. Scott Bessent and Trump, they have a trick up their sleeve. I don't know if this was something that they planned out the entire time or if this was the pivot. But with that being said, I think it's a fairly good strategy, right? Now, the only chart that really matters right now is the 10-year Treasury yields. That's it. That's the cheat code, right? If yields drop, liquidity pumps and crypto runs. And I think liquidity is going to pump inevitably because the M2 money supply, which is all the money that's available globally, is going to be increasing. It's moving upwards, an upward trajectory going into the summer. So those two coupled, crypto is going to run. And in order for crypto to run, in order for any markets to run, we need liquidity and we need certainty as well. So that's one of the key indicators that's messing everything up because everything is uncertain. But with the uncertainty gives you an opportunity to then jump into the markets. So a China deal hasn't even been priced in yet, right? So just imagine, during the summertime, Trump, because, Trump and Xi Jinping, I forget how to say his name. I'm probably butchering his name, but them dudes is cool, in my opinion, right? So there's going to be news coming out like, oh, we sat down with China and everything is okay. You know what I'm saying? I see that coming, and then the markets is going to rip, right? And don't forget, most U.S. consumer goods are still made in China. So they need a deal, right? They have to come to the table. It's inevitable. They have to come to the table because they need us as a customer more than we need them as a customer. So this is all a part of the negotiation game as well. And Trump, he's setting the stage to declare a fabulous meeting that sparks the next rally. I can see it. Just think back to all the other times with tariffs and trade wars and all that. Ended up being a meeting. It was all over the news. They were shaking hands. They were smiling. And then boom, the markets rocket. And then at that time, he was saying, yo, I would buy if I was you. Back in 2018. And then literally 90 days after that, the market had a crazy rip, right? Now, let's talk about the regulatory alpha, stablecoins, and the crypto framework, right? So 2025 is shaping up to be the year of clarity, right? Stablecoin laws are coming via the Genius Act plus the Stable Act, right? Clear rules for one-to-one reserves, no more algorithmic stablecoin BS, because we had a crazy debacle a couple of years ago. If you were in the crypto space and you were into Terra Luna, which I made a bag on Terra Luna, but I also lost the bag on Terra Luna, right? And the reason why everyone lost the bag and it went belly up is because they had an algorithmic stablecoin on that platform, right? And the algorithm pretty much just got jacked up and it went belly up pretty much, right? And people lost tons of money like that in a matter of 2 days, right? And then the CEO of that company, Joe Kwan, was on the run, and the U.S. was trying to find him, and all this craziness, right? So it's backed 1-to-1 with reserves. We also got the FIT 21, which will define when a coin is considered a commodity versus a security, and that was the whole issue with XRP and their court case. That was the whole issue with Ethereum at one point. And, Ethereum had an ICO, which was an initial coin offering, similar to an IPO for the stock market. And, the way that it was initiated into the market, it's considered a security, but now they're proof of stake and not proof of work. So they were able to fight that. It's now seen as a commodity. I think all the, big players came together because they see Ethereum as the layer where a lot of things are going to happen, and they got the Ethereum Alliance. So I think they all came together to decide, like, you know what, we got to make sure that this is considered a commodity. So Ethereum is a commodity. But there's a chance that a lot of these coins could be securities. And that's why a couple of years back, Solana, XRP, a bunch of different coins were removed off of Robinhood and things like that because of those court cases. Now, also, we have self-custody rights and DeFi clarity, decentralized finance clarity. And that equals institutional confidence. They'll be more confident to invest in these blockchain projects, these crypto projects. This is why regulation is bullish. In some markets, in some industries, they're all about deregulation, right? And not being so regulated and not, protecting consumer rights, protecting their rights, so on and so forth. But with crypto, we need regulation because we need them to trust the space because it's such a nimble, new, nascent, whatever word you want to describe it. It's new, it's adolescent, it's volatile, any way you want to describe that. And people need certainty. And, the older investors, the people that are more used to stable, returns, need that certainty. And this regulation will provide that certainty. It brings trust, it brings capital, and that will spark more innovation. So it's a good thing. Now, these are some smart money moves you cannot ignore because it's all about the smart money. It's all about following the money. Follow the bread, follow the breadcrumbs, right? That's what it's about. So Bitcoin balance, I'm going to start off with this. The Bitcoin balance on OTC, which is over the counter desk, right? It's at an all-time low. So this equals a supply shock is incoming very soon. So this is another thing that could increase the price. Corporations bought 95,000 Bitcoin in Q1. 95,000, bro. That's the most. That's the record high in any quarter ever. Now you got Trump family. Trump family is behind Liberty Financial, and they're buying up cryptocurrency. They're buying up Ondo. They're buying up Ethereum. They're buying up all these cryptos. They just invested another 347 million into altcoins, and most of these altcoins was in the red. They bought in the red, right? When everyone's scared, you buy in the red. They know what they're doing. Then we got the Solana spot ETF launching potentially April 16th. That's a big deal. If we get that, that is a huge deal, right? Trump's tariffs exemptions covers miners. So he has some exemptions on tech hardware and all that stuff. And this is bullish for the Bitcoin network because that includes Bitcoin miners. Now we got MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor or Strategy. They are buying up Bitcoin like this dude. He spent so much bread on Bitcoin. It's insane. And he just bought another 3,459 Bitcoin for $285 million. This dude is spending, he's going to be spending $1 trillion by the time this is over. He's going to be spending $1 trillion on Bitcoin alone. He's going to be a zillionaire, or MicroStrategy is going to be a zillionaire, if that's even a word. I don't know. What's after trillion? Y'all tell me. And now MetaPlanet is another company buying up Bitcoin. They're stacking their sats. Sats are Satoshis. Satoshis are the very little bits and pieces of a Bitcoin. So like how you have $1 and then 100 pennies make up $1. 100 million sats make up one Bitcoin, right? So when you buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, if you buy just $5,000 of Bitcoin, you're now buying Satoshis or sats, right? You only buy a Bitcoin when you have a full Bitcoin. So just some, terminology for you guys, but they own 4,525 Bitcoin. They stacking sats. And the Fed says if tariff-driven inflation is mild, rate cuts could come later this year, which would also be another bullish sign for the crypto market. Everyone is scared. Everyone's on the sidelines right now. But the big players, they're buying everything. And Ethereum is setting up to be the financial rail for the future. So let everyone panic. You stay prepared. Do your research. Follow this channel. Follow this page. Make sure you tap in. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and tell a friend. This isn't financial advice. This is just smart money flow and following the smart money, right? And the flow of the money in these cycles. And we're here to track it all on Crypto Rants, Urban Blockchain. It's your boy Dre La Soul. Again, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We out.